All praise and glory goes to Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior. All praise and glory goes to Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior. No, I had a very, very vivid dream, and I'm just going to speak about it. I don't know if it's important or not, so I don't know if I'll upload it or not. Today is the 13th of June of 2024, just to give a date. So, in this dream, it started out, I was at home, and my pa was with me, and we had all these baby chicks, like hundreds of them, and they were all black and white. And I remember, like, he was, like, dumping them all out, and this was outside by, like, next to a fence, and there was just so many of them, and they were all black and white. And I remember one, he said, he picked up, I noticed very well, that was, he said, this one has long feathers, and it was a chick that was black and white, but it had long black feathers, and the white feathers were short. It was very odd, you know what I mean? These were all, chicks. And the next thing you know, these chicks were turning into, not into, like, chickens, but into, like, children or other animals. And while I was, like, before they changed, and I was just gathering them around, I was trying to keep track of them in this farm field. Some chickens got out, but they were adults. They were brown and golden colored hens, like solid brown, red hen, and golden yellow hens. And they got out around the fence, and they were, not. And I had to get them back into the fenced-in property. This was someplace I've, never been. Like, it was like somebody's farm field. And I gathered them all up. And I remember one one hen didn't want to go, and I was following her, and I finally got her in. And I noticed there was, like, the fence had, like, once I got to that point, because on one side of the fence there was pine trees, like, neatly in rows and everything, like someone did that. And then on the other side was just, farm field. Like, have you ever seen a farm field in a farm? Just grass. And I remember, like, how I lifted up the fence and pushed them back in. The fence was made out of like, plastic, and then I was able to move down to grab that hen. The fence began to change and turn into, like, the bars of, like, you would use for a gate, but it was fence, and it was made out of, like, aluminum, and there was, like, some type of weirdo vine around it. And I went back, got the hen, and then there was, like, so you had, like, the plastic fence, then you had a metal fence, like you would see, like, a metal fence, like a prisons or something like that, like those, not the barbs, but, like, the ones that are cold, like you would see on the side of, like, a dog kennel, that type deal. It's made out of metal, and it's like lattice work. And then you had the metal gate. So I got the hen around the metal gate, and I got her back in, and then I was trying to climb back in, and then this wind came out of nowhere, and my hair was down and messed up my hair and turned it into mats. And it was, like, all over the place. And I found my way back into the property. And once I was, back on the property, this is when I noticed that some of these these baby chicks, were changing. So they were a variety of age, by the way. Some of them were like young little chicks, like ones you could hold in your hand. They fit in the palm of your hand. And some were a little bit bigger and older, like probably like 3 or 4 months old, or up to 5 months old, because there's so many of them. There's like hundreds of them, you know what I mean? Of these chicks. They were all black and white. And I noticed that they turned into these kids. and I was trying to figure out where I should put all these chicks because I didn't know where to put them because there were so many of them. And I was like, there's not enough room in the chicken coops, in this place to put them all. And I remember like a bunch of them had turned into, again, like about 4 or 5 year olds or younger, and children. And I had to hide some of them. I put them inside a broken so I put them like maybe like in a broken down like dryer or something, like, and I was like, I can't fit all of you in there, so I didn't. I only put like 4, and then this one boy wanted to go in there and grab it. And I said no, and then I said, and then I had a roll down like door, like if you ever seen like a thing that you store bread on a countertop, that's what it had, but on this like dryer thing, it had a roll down door. You just roll down. And I said, get some sleep in there. And then the next thing you know, I was like, I was going to put some in this wash machine in another room. And I was like, no, I'm not putting these kids in this wash machine. And then I had contacted my pa and asked him where he wanted to put all these, these chicks that were changing. And then I left. And the next thing you know, I was in a whole different area. And I was in this dining room, and I was fixing some things on this couch, and on top of the couch was black Pumbas, black jaguars, and 2 of them. And I knew that originally they were the black and white chicks, but they had turned into Pumbas, or as I like to call them, jaguars. I like to call them Pumbas, but they're black jaguars. And they were young, they're not full grown, but they're big, And there were 2 of them, and I bothered them because I moved they were sleeping on top of this quilt that was covering the couch. And the couch had some dolls on top of it as well. They were princess angel dolls, dolls dressed up in pink with angelic wings and stuff, and they were just, laying scattered on top of the quilt with these Pumbas on top of them. There's 2 of them, and they were sleeping there, and they were getting irritated, and by me, and I kept trying to fix their pillows and everything. And there was a black and white chick in there, and just a little black and white chicken moved in there, and I was like, where are all these people going to go to the bathroom? I was thinking, because there was kids going all over the place, and they were looking for a place to sleep, and because these chicks had turned into children, and then those two of the chicks again turned into those black jaguars. And there was a table up against, and I was trying to get out of there. I realized I was squeezed between the couch and this dining room table. And I was pushing at the dining room table to get out of my way, and when I was doing that, I knocked all the pillows that were on top of these black jaguars. And they were giving me the looks like, what are you doing? We were trying to sleep under here. And finally I was able to get out. It's like, there was like between me, the dining room table, and this piece of furniture behind it, like one of these giant sideboard things. It's like all squished in. Finally I was able to get out, but when I got out, I had knocked all those pillows off of them because the pillows were leaning against the dining room table that was on top of those jaguars, and they kind of fell off. And then I tried fixing them, and then I got out of there. And then the next clip, I was with my pa, and we were in his truck, and we were going somewhere north. I knew we were going somewhere north, and he was driving onto this road, and this like highway road that you had to be scanned into, and he had typed in that he was driving a tractor trailer, even though he wasn't driving a tractor trailer. He was driving his work truck, which is not a tractor trailer. And he got onto this highway, and there was like, like cameras and everything on this highway. And there was a picture on the highway, like, this is where you're driving, and it said my dad's name. And it showed a picture of this tractor trailer that said Pillsbury on the side of it. And it showed you like a picture of that they were scanning the compartments and everything of this tractor trailer. Even though me and my pa were not in a Pillsbury tractor trailer. We were in his work truck, but it was weird. And I didn't see any other vehicles on the highway. And my pa said, this is the fastest way to go. We're going on the part of the highway that's designed only for tractor trailers. And that's why he stated that he had a tractor trailer, even though he was driving his work truck. But I remember that picture it had, like, it showed like all the different compartments of this tractor trailer was on the screen. They were scanning it and everything. And as we were driving through this like very strange city. It was dark. It was nighttime. Sky was pitch black, but there was so much light, artificial light. Like, you could see the whole entire highway because of the light. And there was on one side, to the right of the highway, there was a Space Needle. The Seattle Space Needle was there, and it had a red top, and that was there, like where where the restaurant part of the Space Needles was red. That part was like the roofing was painted red. And on the other side, like, there were like skyscrapers, but there was also these gigantic antenna things and I mean, they were huge. Like, if you ever seen like dish antennas, these are what they look like, but they were like 10,000 times bigger. They were like even bigger than a tractor trailer. That's how big they were, like the size of skyscrapers. One of them I knew was scanning everything, and I knew it worked for FEMA. I have to lay out the words, and it was one of those dishes, but it wasn't round. It was rectangular shape, and it went in like kind of like a horseshoe, kind of, not completely like a horseshoe, but curved. Curved, like a curved screen, curved monitor. It was curved, and it had that long needle point thing in it, and I knew it was scanning the vehicles, scanning everything. And there was another one that was round that was scanning, and there was humongous like digital screens that were the size of billboards and bigger on the right side. Sorry, the Space Needle was on the left side. So the Space Needle was on the left side, and there were some buildings over there. And on the right side, there was all those antennas, and two of them. There was two of them. There was one that was big and white, that was round, that had that was a dish, giant dish, about like the size of some like this width, like about the size of a few skyscrapers. And then they had the one that I knew was from FEMA, that was long, and it was gray metal, that I knew was from FEMA. That's what was stayed in the dream. And I knew I was tired. And there was this one billboard said, we're scanning your vehicle for bullets, and they had showed a picture of all the different types of ammunition you could use. And they were, scanning the vehicle for that. And then there was like right around that time period on the, looking towards the right was this astronaut, and it was this balloon thing on top of this, over the building, which had a huge rounded screen with a digital astronaut woman who was singing, and at first I thought she was going to be killed or blown up or something, because I thought of this teacher years ago. There was a space shuttle that was shot into the sky from Florida, I think it was, with a teacher that was on board it, and they never made it very far. The thing got blown up. Well, that's what I thought of this woman, that she was that teacher that got blown up in the in that shuttle long ago. But in this one, it was a digital. She was a brown-haired woman. I can't remember her eye color. She had brown hair, and she was wearing an astronaut suit. Separate, she didn't have the hood on top of her head, but she was just like singing away, and I couldn't understand what she was saying because I couldn't hear it, but you could tell she was singing, and but it was digital. It wasn't. You could tell she was a digital like hologram, because it didn't look human. You know what I mean? It didn't look, like a normal person. It looked digital, absolutely digital, like animation. And then the next thing you know, my dad had drove into this garage place that he had to go in through these scanning checkpoints before he can get anywhere. And we left the vehicle, and we walked up to this huge garage door. Now this was like an underground facility, and the poles were all poles were holding up the roof. Were all dark gray, and we had to go up to you know how they have like lumps on the ground for bumps on the ground, and for cars. Well, we had to walk up these bumps up to this garage door and get on like our knees, and the garage door rolled up and opened, but it didn't roll up. It just like lifted up, like kind of reminded me of a guillotine, how it lifted up. And we walked through that one, and then we got to the next one, and this one shut down, nice and sealed. And then we waited, and sitting, kneeling on top of this bump, and then it finally lifted up, and there was more layers than just one garage door thing. There was multiple layers, and then we had to do it again. We went through that one and got to the third one, and we had to sit on the bump. There was 2 bumps. And he walked up to it, and then he sat there, and then it was like, it went sealed, when we got there, it sealed itself. It was down, but it sealed itself more. And then it finally, this one rolled up. And as it rolled up, I saw the words, Tweakin Valley Elementary School on it, and said under that, Cyber Charter, elementary school for and I said out loud, it's not called Christian, it's not called Tweakin Valley Elementary School anymore. It's called Faith Christian Academy, and it had the words, literally in blue with a paw print of Tweakin Valley Elementary School, and underneath it said that should I name that Cyber Charter School, which was in red underneath in smaller writing. At the bottom of this second or third garage door, and there's layers of this garage door, and that finally all opened and let us go, and then we moved on to the final garage door that we had to go through. And while we're sitting there kneeling at this garage door that was sealed, that had multiple layers, that was sealed, this like FBI agent dude, he was wearing a gray button-up shirt, black pants, and he had black sunglasses. And he grabbed, because we were both kneeling at this door, waiting. And because we knew we had kneeled for it to scan us before we can go through the door. He grabbed us and looked at both our faces. And I was like, is he going to ask if I had, taken the mark of the beast? He didn't ask. He just looked at both our faces. And the next thing you know, he left us, and then the garage door opened. And it went on. Now we weren't going through garage doors anymore. We were going through fiery pits. If you ever known about, hot burning rocks, well, the first time around we had to walk around them. So me and my pa were trying to walk around them. And I had, I remember I was wearing some type of pants, blue jeans and a t-shirt, but on my feet was sandals. I had woolly socks with sandals. And I had remembered that the guy who, when I walked through that door had stated, you're, very lucky to have shoes. because there's a shortage of shoes and people don't have shoes anymore. To me, about with my sandals, I had like strap-on sandals, with Velcro strap with a woolly socks under, on my feet and then straps in the sandals. The sandals were blue and gray on color, and you walked around. There was a pit. There was a fiery pit of like hot coals and stones, or reddish color, and you had to walk around it. Well, my father walked through and he tripped, and he went flying into the pit, but he was able to land on his feet instead of landing on his side and getting burned. And he jounched through there. He had shoes on. He had like slip-on sneakers on, but and so he went through the pit. So like you could walk around the sides of the pit, and it was a test. And I had walked on the sides, but he ran through the pit because he ended up in it. And he got out, and then we both got to the other door at the end, and it opened, and then we went on to another pit. Well, this time you had to walk literally through the pit. No, you didn't have to walk through the pit. This one, you had to walk around. It was a thin area of blackish concrete, and the pit was on fire. This one had flames literally in the pit. Now, I mean, it wasn't like shooting flames. Like there was, hot coals and stuff, but there were some of the coals were, you could see literally flames. Small little flames, not big flames, just tiny little flames. And my dad and I were able to make it around it. And then we waited, and then in the next door opened up to a ginormous pit of flaming coals. But these coals were different. They were how like there is with the rainbow, there's one color, there's another color, there's another color. Well, this time it was. And I knew it was gravel, like you never see gravel for your fish tank. Well, it was gravel, but there was blue, yellow, orange. There were one like that, but it was in rainbow. So there was a rainbow. They weren't mixed, but a rainbow of these colors of gravel. But they were hot. They were hot gravel. They were very hot fish gravel. It's what they look like. They were small stones, like fish gravel, and they were in a row of colors, like a rainbow. And it was a huge pit, and there was no way to walk around the sides of it. You had to walk through the pit to get to the other side. And I remember the ceiling here had like these ropey things up in the ceiling. Like you can grab them. They're ropes of wire. And there was cameras and stuff. And at the other end was these plastic doors. They were like black plastic shower curtain doors, but thick plastic that moved. And I was rushing through it because my feet were literally on fire in those sandals, walking on these hot fish gravel. It was like literally cooking. It was cooking. You could know it was cooking. The steam was coming off. It was that hot. And my pa was behind me. And we finally got to the other end, and I was just standing there, and like in the ribbon of white and a little bit into the yellow gravel, just standing there, and there was no place to go because I couldn't go up because of these plastic doors that were like reminding me of shower curtains because they were bendable like that. They're flexible, bendable, but thick. And and you could see around like the pit because there was a wall made of them, and you could see this security dude walking. He was skinny. I would say probably in his 40s age, and his hair hadn't gone gray, but he was in like early 40s. And he was wearing a dark gray shirt, the same color as the last guy, and black pants. And he had those black sunglasses on, and he was looking at us. And I was like, "Are you gonna let us out?" Because my feet were literally on fire. I could feel my feet were literally on fire. My pa was behind me, and I knew his feet were on fire. And his shoes were probably, it's probably had melted a little bit from being in the last time, because he was literally in that coal fire pit earlier. And there was his family that went through, and they came running in, and they were next to us, like a mom, a dad, and like, like 10 years and older kids. I remember they had a young boy, I would say probably about like 13, 14 years old, and they had probably like a pre-teenage daughter, like a family, an ordinary family, mom, dad, and 2 kids. And I remember, like, I think the daughter was wearing a white skirt and everything, and they were like, when are we getting out of here? And I knew, like, this was all, like, a side type of testing of some sort. And I was waiting for that guy, and he was just staring at us, thinking about if he was going to open the door and let us out, or let us just sit there in those burning hot coals of fish crab. And because I knew those people wanted out, and I wanted out, and my pa wanted out. We were all being cooked in this thing from our feet up, and it was burning. I knew my feet were being burned from this thing because of how hot it was. And he never opened it, and then I woke up. So I don't know if this dream had any meaning. It was very weird. So, yeah. Also, back on the highway, I just want to add this. I remember one of the billboards said they were scanning our phones, our cell phones. They were scanning our cell phones and to check to see what we were doing with them, everything we were doing with them. And they said have them ready for security because they're going to want to look at them. And I knew both me and my pa had our smartphones on us. And I knew that the Scantron thing was going to scan to see, what was on our on our devices. So, and I knew the authorities, the fiscal authorities were going to take our phones, confiscate them, and to look through them, like all the memory, all the photos, everything. So, well, thank you for listening. If this is important, I will upload it, and publicize it. Thank you for listening. I'll be back in a little bit.